I'm glad to be able to be doing this live with us again. This is going to be some detailed live session, and it's going to be still in the issue of verbs. So it means then this is going to be effective for us, for those of us who are doing the A1, A2, B1, and even probably B2, because they're going to contribute greatly in your Sprechen, schreiben, and so on and so forth, right? So for those who don't know me, this is the friend speaking to us. And in this video today, I would like us to break down some of the commonly used irregular verbs in German, right? I would like us to see some of the commonly used irregular verbs in German, how to conjugate them, and then, of course, we'll be seeing some examples to also help us see why we call them irregular and definitely how to conjugate them, right? Now, one thing I would like you to expect for the irregular verbs is this, but they are irregular because you will be seeing vowels change when you conjugate them, all right? So please find yourself a pen and a paper. Let's go ahead and see the examples I've prepared for us. Now remember, I've begun by saying that we call them irregular simply because there is a change within the verb stem and in how we conjugate them. And that is why we call them irregular, all right? So let's go ahead and see our very first example. And in my first example, I've been given the verb sein. Look at this verb here. The verb is sein. This sein simply means to be. Kindly note. Sein, this one means to be. All right. So how do we conjugate it? Let's go ahead. Now we'll be using a table. We're going to give a table so that we see its conjugation, right? No, I'll be giving the ish, do, etc. format so that we see how it goes, right? So the verb originally we've said is sein. This is to be, all right? Sein, to be. So if you proceed to conjugate this verb, you will have something like this. So under ich, you would say ich bin, all right? Ich bin. This means I am. Ich bin. I am. Okay. Now under du, you would now say du bist. Look at that. So ich bin, I am. Du bist. This one is now you are. Notice that we write them in small letters. Normally the personal pronouns begin in small letters unless they're beginning a sentence, right? So ich bin, I am. Du bist, you are. And then under er, sie, and es. Now er, sie, es becomes ist. Look at that. Er, sie, es, ist. Now this means he, she, it is. Look at that. So ich bin, du bist, er, sie, es, ist. Now he, she, it is. And then sie, now this is always capital, sie sind. Sie sind, which now means you are. Now, do you see why we call it irregular? Look at how it has completely changed from the original verb. Ich bin, I am. Du bist, you are. Er, sie, es, ist. This is now he, she, it is. All right? Sie sind, you are. Then we have wir sind. Now, wir sind, this is now going to mean we are. Wir sind, we are. Okay. Then there's ihr seid. Now, ihr seid, this is you are. I would recommend you copy the meanings in bracket, so that when you give examples in sentences, you'll be able to follow them along, right? And then the last one that I have is small s, sie sind. Now, this means they are, all right? They are, all right? It's Nibrush. Hello to you too. Willkommen, right? So look at this irregular verb, right? Sein. Ich bin, I am. Du bist, you are. Er, sie, es ist. Now this is he, she, it is. Sie sind, you are. Wir sind, we are. And then ihr seid, you are. And then lastly, sie sind, they are. Do you see why we call it irregular? Because when we conjugate them, there's a complete change from the original verb. All right? So let's just go ahead and give some three examples. Let's just go ahead and give some three examples. I would like to see how you're able to translate the following sentence. Now, how will you say that they are not? How would you translate and say they are not in Europe? They are not in Europe. So let's check our verb. They are not in Europe. So they, we've said is sie, right? So now I should say sie sind, all right? Sie sind not, nicht in Europa. So they are not in Europe. Now my final answer will become, so they are not in Europe. Sie sind, okay, sie sind nicht, sie sind nicht in Europa. Okay, sie sind nicht in Europa. You realize in your sentences, the verb, the nouns should always begin in capital, right? Europa, capital E. So, sie sind nicht in Europa. They are not in Europe. All right. All right, then. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you continue, please feel free to comment below. I would like to know which level are you currently in. I can see its knee brush is already in the building. Comment below which level are you currently in German. Are you in A1? Are you in A2? And also, how do you find the process? Is German becoming easier for you or difficult? Feel free also to comment below. I can see Nibrush mentions in A1. That is impressive. How are you finding it? Is it getting easier or is it getting more difficult? Feel free to comment below. So that is the first example, sein. Let's go ahead and see another example. Now, the other example that I have here is schlafen. Schlafen. Now, schlafen simply means to sleep. You're going to realize that most of these irregular verbs, they tend to change mostly in do and as. Nibrash comments and says it's easy. That is the correct mindset, yeah? That is the correct mindset. If you say it's difficult, it becomes difficult. But if you believe, it's easy, I can do this, it becomes very easy and do it effectively, right? So the other verb I've been given is schlafen. Now this one is conjugated as follows. So under ich, I should say ich schlafe, right? Ich schlafe. Now under do is where I would like you to put a star. So under do, there's going to be an umlaut. Now I would say du schläfst. There's an umlaut on the S, kindly note. So ich schlafe, I am sleeping, but du schläfst. You see, there's an umlaut there. And that's why I call it irregular. You can just indicate umlaut there. And then under S, also, there is another umlaut. So S now becomes schläft. Look at that. So I began by saying that most of these irregular verbs, they tend to be irregular under do and as. You can see there's an umlaut here. Du schläfst. And then as schläft. He, she, it is sleeping, right? Then there's Z capital. Z now becomes schlafen. Look at that. Sie schlafen, you're sleeping, all right? And then the plural side, now the plural side is going to become wir schlafen. Oh, just pardon me for a moment, yeah? Just a moment. Excuse us for a moment. All right, so pardon for the interruption. So we were saying that most of these irregular verbs, they tend to be irregular, especially under, what is it? They mostly tend to be, how do you call it? Under do and as is. That's where the issue comes in, right? Do and as is. So wir schlafen, we're sleeping. And then ihr now becomes ihr schlaft. Okay. Ihr schlaft, you are sleeping. And then the plural of as is sie schlafen, they are sleeping. Sie schlafen. Then the last one also, sie schlafen. Okay, so let's get their meanings in check. We've said ich schlafe, this is I am sleeping. Du schläfst, you are sleeping. Notice how the umlaut changes the pronunciation. Du schläfst, you are sleeping, right? As schläft, right? He, she, it is sleeping. Then sie schlafen, okay? Wir schlafen, we are sleeping. Jamila, guten Abend to you too. Willkommen. And then ihr schlaft, you are sleeping. Sie schlafen, they're sleeping. Sie schlafen. All right. So let's see some sentence example. Let's give out some sentence examples to see how we are able to translate. Now, how would you say the sentence? You want to say that the child. How would you say the child is sleeping? The child is sleeping. So how would we translate this? The child is sleeping. Bitte schön, Jamila, bitte schön. The child is sleeping. Now I'd like you to try. The child is sleeping. Now, because child is a he or a she, right? I'm going to this table of as is. So if I say the child is sleeping, I should now say das Kind schläft, right? So the child is sleeping. Now my answer would simply become das Kind and then schläft. Das Kind schläft. The child is sleeping. Das Kind schläft. Okay? Yeah, let's take two more examples and then you can see some other verb. How about we say, I want to give in plural, that my brother, right? I want to say, my brother sleeps at 8 o'clock. Look at this. My brother sleeps at 8 o'clock. Look at this. My brother sleeps at 8 o'clock. So first of all, we have to put brother in the correct category, right? Brother. Now, brother falls under as, right? He, she, it. So my brother sleeps at 8 o'clock. My answer would become, mein Bruder schläft, right? Mein Bruder schläft at 8 o'clock. 8 Uhr, right? So my brother sleeps at 8 o'clock. Now your answer would become mine. Please note as you copy down that the nouns should always be in capital, right? Someone asked, woher kommen Sie? Jamila. Okay. Ich komme aus Kenia und jetzt wohne ich hier in Kenya. Wunderbar. Und Sie, woher kommen Sie? Guys, please, I'd like you to share below which level are you currently in? Where are you tuning in from? Are you tuning in from Kenya, Europe? Feel free to comment below. Share where you're tuning in from and also which level currently pursuing. So, my brother sleeps at 8 o'clock. Now becomes mein Bruder. And then Bruder falls under as. So you should say, mein Bruder schläft. Mein Bruder schläft. And then at 8 o'clock. 8 Uhr. 8 Uhr. Mein Bruder schläft 8 Uhr. Okay, so that was the second example of an irregular verb. You've seen the verb sein. You've also seen the verb schlafen. Okay, let's go ahead and bring some other irregular verb. And the next one that is also irregular is the verb helfen. Look at this one here. The next verb that also is irregular is the verb helfen. Now, helfen, this means to help. Helfen, this means to help. Okay? Now, you realize we said that most of these irregular verbs tend to change in do and as. Oh, Jamila kommt aus Uzbekistan. Sehr gut. Jamila, which level are you currently in? Also, feel free to share below. And also, why are you learning German? Is it for work? Is it for studies? We will be having a live soon where we'll be sharing our experiences based on how we find the German process. How has it been learning the language? Has it been easy? We will be seeing that in some live. I will share it for us. So, helfen. This is irregular also, right? So if I conjugate it, now becomes ich helfe, right? Ich helfe, I am helping. And then under do now changes and we now say du hilfst. Look at that. Ich helfe, I am helping. And then under do, now you say du hilfst. Very irregular. Hi has changed, right? Du hilfst. And then sie, es. So he, she, it hilft. Do you see why we call it irregular? Now you can see from helfen now becomes du hilfst. You are helping. Sie, es hilft. He, she, it is helping. And then capital S, sie helfen. You are helping. Sie helfen. I at the plural side. Now you have wir helfen. We are helping. Wir helfen. And then the now becomes helft. Then sie helfen. They are helping. Lastly, sie helfen. Okay, so this is also one of the irregular ones. You can see, ich helfe. This is I am helping or I help. Ich helfe. I am helping or I help. And then under do now becomes du hilfst. Very irregular, right? Du hilfst. You are helping. All right. I would recommend you try pronouncing them out aloud from your end. It helps with the practice. It is Sprechen. Sie, es hilft, right? Sie, es hilft. He, she, it is helping. Sie helfen, you are helping. Sie helfen, you are helping. Wir helfen, we are helping. Wir helfen, we are helping. Ihr helft, you are helping. And then sie helfen. Notice this is small s, yeah? Normally this one is small s, but this is always capital, right? This is going to be small unless it begins. So this sie helfen, this means they are helping. And then lastly, sie helfen also, you are helping. All right? So this helfen also is one of the irregular verbs. All right? Okay, let's take some two examples also for this helfen. You want to say that we are helping. How will I say? We are helping the child. How would you say this? We are helping the child. Let's now refer to a verb. Let's say, we are helping the child. Who wants to try this? Let's go ahead. I will be checking our comments to see how many are attentive. We are helping the child. We are helping the child. The only difference we have from English is, English, there's a lot of helping verb, right? We have to say we are. But German, we simply say we help the child. So if we check our table, we, that's going to be wir, right? So you should now say wir helfen, right? Wir helfen, and then the child, Kind, dem Kind. So my answer would become, we are helping the child. Your answer should now become, wir, okay, helfen. Right, we are helping the child. Bitteschön. Wir helfen, how do you call it? Wir helfen dem Kind. Wir helfen dem Kind. We are helping the child. Okay. All right then. So we have now seen this verb helfen. Okay, I want us to see another irregular verb. As mentioned, I would like to bring in as much of these irregular verbs as possible. Now, there's this other one, sehen. The other verb that also tends to be irregular, the verb is sehen. Here's the verb. The verb is sehen. This means to see. It can mean to see or even to watch, right? Sehen, to see or to watch. Now, I began by saying that most of these irregular verbs, they tend to change under do and as, right? But in a way, they have some similarities with the other ones for regular. So, ich sehe, okay, ich sehe, this can mean I see or I am seeing, ich sehe. And then under do, you would now say du siehst. Look at this. Do you see why I call them irregular? Siehst, S-I-E-H-S-T. Ich sehe, du siehst. You are seeing or you are watching. And then under er, sie, and es now becomes sieht. Look at that. Er, sie, es, sieht. Okay. And then under sie, now you say sie sehen. You are seeing. Okay. So, ich sehe, du siehst, er, sie, es, sieht. Okay. He, she, it is seeing. Sie sehen, you are seeing. And then the plural side, wir sehen, right? We are seeing. Then there's ihr seht. Then sie sehen, they are seeing. Sie sehen, you are seeing. Okay. So this is also another one of those irregular verbs. Guys, I'd like you to go ahead and like this video, share with your friends even as we proceed in learning. And also, I would like to know, which level are you currently in? I've seen that those of us in A1, those of us in A2, those of us in B1. Feel free to comment below. I would like to know who you are and which level you're currently in at the moment. So, you've seen this irregular one. Ich sehe, I'm saying, du siehst. You are seeing. Er, sie, es, sieht. He, she, it is seeing, right? Sie sehen. Then wir sehen, ihr seht, and then of course, sie sehen, sie sehen. It is, right? So this is also another example of an irregular one, and we can pick some two examples. How would you say the following? But we are seeing, how will I say that? We are seeing the house. How would you say this? We are seeing the house. Now, using our table back then, we are seeing the house, or we see the house. I can say Jamila has given one example. Wir sehen super. Sehr gut. We are seeing the house. How would you say that? Guys, let's practice with this. We are seeing the house. Yeah. Now, if I check my table, we, category wir, right? And like in English, whereby we have to have helping verb are. Now, German is simply say directly sehen, right? So, wir sehen. So you would now say wir sehen, right? The house. Das Haus. Wir sehen das Haus. We are seeing the house. Wir sehen das Haus. Okay? We are seeing the house. Okay, and how about we say that the men are seeing, right? The men are seeing the books. The men are seeing the books. So first we have to find where the men fall, right? It's they, plural, right? So because it's plural, now you conjugate under plural here. Sehen. So the men are seeing the books. Die Männer sehen. The men are seeing the books. Now my answer will become die Männer are seeing sehen, right? The books, die Bücher. Die Männer sehen die Bücher. The men are seeing the books. etc. All right. So that is the other verb that was irregular. You've now seen 3 of them. You've seen sein, you've seen schlafen, and you've also seen sehen. So I want to bring in another verb. Now, somebody was asking which book I'm using. This is the one I'm using. There's last month we launched this official book. I realized most of us struggled with grasping of the textbooks, right? So we launched this Deutsch vereinfacht 1, a very nice copy where we break down in details various verbs in depth, all right, plus conjugation, plus different examples to help as you check various examples. So if you will be looking to get a copy for this, please, you'll comment below, and I've given more information in the description, and you'll be able to be assisted further on the same. Okay. All right, then let's go ahead and see some other example. I would pick the verb essen. Jamila says, ich habe ein Buch. Okay, let's pick this other one that is also irregular. The verb is essen. Now, this also falls under the category of the irregular ones. Essen, this means to eat. All right, it is also one of the irregular verbs. All right. Graniti, hello to you too. Welcome. That is Graniti tuning in. Welcome, Graniti, even as we proceed. So this verb essen, to eat, right, falls in the same category of the irregular ones. So that if I conjugate it, you would now say ich esse. Now, you realize we said that most of these irregular verbs, they tend to be irregular mostly in do and in as, right? So I would say, ich esse, I am eating, right? But now you would say, du isst. Ich esse. Now under do, it changes. Look at the complete change. Now becomes isst. Now please don't confuse this essen and this one here. People confuse it with the sein. No, this is to be. Now I'm referring to essen. Ich esse, I am eating. Du isst. You are eating, right? And then sie, es now becomes ist. You realize that the same, yeah? Ich esse, du isst, you are eating. Sie, es isst. He, she, it is eating. And then the sie, this one should always be capital, please note. Sie essen, you are eating. Then the plural side, wir essen, we are eating, right? How about ihr? Now under ihr becomes ihr esst, right? And then sie essen, sie essen. Okay. Very irregular. Now, I begin by saying that you're going to realize their irregularity mostly lies under do and as. And that's why I say ich esse, Du isst, you are eating. Sie es isst. Sie essen. Wir essen. And then ihr esst. And then there's sie essen, sie essen. Okay? So let's take another example again. We want to take a statement and a question. How would you say that she is eating pizza? How would you say she is eating pizza? She is eating pizza. She is eating pizza. Granity, you didn't tell me which level you're currently in. Granity, comment below which level are you currently in, and also the rest of us. A1, A2, B1, feel free to comment below. And how is the process? How do you find the language, the German language so far? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Feel free to share your honest opinion below. So, she is eating pizza. She is eating pizza. At the beginning, I mentioned that English tends to be much more complicated compared to German. Because, in English, there needs to be a helping verb, is. But German, I simply say, she eats pizza. I don't have to put in the helping verb, like in English, is. So if I want to say, she's eating pizza, now I check my table. She falls under here, the as, he, she, it, right? So she's eating pizza. Now I should say, sie isst pizza, right? She is eating pizza. Now my answer would become, sie, right, is eating. Isst. Sie isst Pizza. Sie isst pizza. She is eating pizza. Now, how about if I want to make it a question? How about if I want to twist it and make it a question? You now want to ask, is she eating pizza? Is she eating pizza? Look at this. So if I now make it a question, what you simply do, now just begin with the verb, right? All right. You simply just go ahead and begin with the verb, yeah? etc, etc. That is nice. So there's an example given here via essen pizza. Graniti danke schon. Das ist sehr nett von dir, right? So, she is eating pizza is sie isst pizza. But now if I want to make it a question, now I begin with this verb here. Now I would ask, isst sie pizza? Is she eating pizza? Isst sie, small s, pizza? Isst sie pizza? Is she eating pizza? Etc, etc. Jamila has given another example and says, wir essen pizza. We are eating pizza, etc, etc. That is correct also from your side. So this is how we conjugate that verb essen, that also tends to fall in the category of the irregular verbs. So I want to give us, let's take two more examples. Sorry, not two, but one more example of another irregular as we conclude. Let's use geben. In conclusion, let's use this one here. Let's use the verb geben. Now, geben also falls in the category of irregular. This is to give. Geben, to give. Danke für die für das Kompliment, Granit, ja? Das freut mich. So, geben, to give. Now, as I mentioned at the start, but these verbs, as much as they are irregular, they almost look like the ones under the regular, right? They almost are the same. So this geben, if I proceed to conjugate it, under ich, you would say ich gebe. Okay, ich gebe. That can mean I give or I am giving. Ich gebe, I give or I am giving, right? And then under do, now there's a complete change. You now say du gibst. Look at that. Du gibst. All right. Ich gebe, du gibst. You are giving, right? And then under er, sie, and es, now we say gibt. Now be careful right here. Is ich gebe. du gibst, but as es gibt. You can see it has changed from the GE, now it's GI, gibt. But sie, now it's sie geben. All right, sie geben. And then under wir, now we say wir geben, we are giving. Then you have ihr gebt, you are giving. And then sie geben, sie geben. Look at that. Do you see why we call it irregular, right? Ich gebe, du gibst, es gibt. So I am giving, you are giving. He, she, it is giving. Sie geben, you are giving. Wir geben, we are giving. And then ihr gebt, you are giving. Sie geben, they are giving. Sie geben, you are giving. All right. So these are amongst those irregular verbs that we've mentioned. We've only listed a couple of them. In our next live, we shall be breaking down further examples. We shall be breaking down further examples of these other irregular verbs. Oh, danke, Graniti, das freut mich sehr. And then, as mentioned earlier, in this booklet is where we break down even further details of those verbs. I have just published it. We have it on our website. If in case you need a copy, you'll get more information also on the same on our website. Just check in the description below, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, das ist alles für heute. Tschüss und gute Nacht.